Hey guys, we are here today in this also new looking garage to get back to the wagon. I'm trying to make some progress with it. I think we're about to make quite a bit, but there is one thing that I wanted to do first. One thing that was just kind of lingering, especially between me and my friends, of what exactly happened with the old engine that was in the car. Of course, there was all the metal that came out with the drain plug. And honestly, I'm gonna find it. So, we've actually got the engine on an engine stand, and we are gonna tear this whole thing down all the way to the bearings. Because that's what I think it is. That's what we all think it is. It's probably bearing material that was in the oil that probably killed this engine. But we're gonna find out. Now, I'm gonna say I've never torn an engine down before, so I don't know what I'm doing. But since I don't have to put it back together, I don't have to worry about how I take it apart. So we're just gonna dig in and rip this thing apart and just find out where the metal came from. There's actually a couple interesting things that we've discovered since we pulled it out. And one of those things is that the head has been off before. There is an off-brand head gasket on here, which can only get there if it is unsealed from the factory and the factory head gasket. So I've already started taking off some of the peripheral accessory stuff like the alternator, the accessory belt tensioners, and just the cradle that was holding all that together. And the next thing we're gonna do is to continue to remove all this peripheral stuff and then just be left with the block and the head. So it's a little dark, but that's pretty clean in there. I'm used to direct injected engines, not port injected engines, which the gas cleans these intake valves. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, it's, oh, that's why this thing melted. Yep, just a little bit of material on there. That hose is on there from the factory for sure. So that's basically everything peripheral off aside from the oil filter housing that just wants to be difficult. So we're gonna leave it for now. Next up, all the timing stuff, and should have the head off pretty soon here. Be nice. Now you're wondering why I'm going through all of this on an engine that we know is dead. Well, that's because we have a replacement for the wagon. And it's a swap that came to mind pretty much as soon as we knew this engine was dead. I wanted to run the wagon because I love wagons, but we've got something interesting. If you stick around for a little bit, I may just show you what we've got going in instead of this little 2-liter that unfortunately was not. All right, let's get in here and see how the new cam was doing after like 20 minutes of running with metal in the oil. Still looks great. My buddy Mark said, watch this engine, I've actually been fine the whole time. Oh well. If anyone wants a 260 cam for a 2-liter, it's for sale. Hit me up. Well, I can tell you one thing already. I am seeing bits of flakes in the oil channels right here. So I don't think this motor was okay. So I think it's great that we're doing this. It's such a shame though, because those lifters were brand new. Oh well, live and you learn. So unfortunately the head's not coming off right now. It's because when I got in there, I noticed that it's a different socket than the Torx that I have up to T55. It was between T55 and T50, and I'm like, oh, why is this not working? And it's because it is a 10mm poly drive, which it's like, oh, shoot, I have that tool because I've taken head bolts off my old 2-liter, so I thought. I still have the toolbox. I still have the toolbox that would have had the tool in it. It's not there for some reason, unfortunately. So I think I just lost it. So Head's gonna wait. We're gonna move to the oil pan. These are just ever so slightly in there because I didn't need to redo the oil pan because this is where we found all the metal. So these will just come right out. Just like that. It is what it is. All right. Ta-da. Oh yeah, there's some serious crap still in there. No, it hasn't seen oil in a while, but there's still quite a bit of gunk and residue in there. You see what we were fighting with. That's pretty brutal. No wonder this engine decided its time was no more. Yep. And out come the lifters. So unfortunately, my impact is not strong enough to remove this crank bolt. So in the meantime, before I go and grab someone else's much bigger and much better impact, let's find a more creative way to pull the oil pump. Yeah. Hey, look at that. Loosen it like this. Oh, it does. Oh. And this is just old. That's all it looks is old. Definitely could have used some good oil, especially some additives to clean it up a little bit. So now we're at the bearings. We've got the rod bearings right here, and this is where we believe that the material is coming from. So we're gonna get in, pull these caps off, and then pull the crank out and see what kind of damage has been done. First cap. All right. Yeah, that's very, very scored looking. You can see on my finger there's material that's come up. Bonk. It's not, I've seen some catastrophic bearing failure. This is just probably didn't get enough oil for too long. Just a little bit to start wearing away at it. But I really do think the one next to it's actually gonna be the culprit. Let's see. There we go. Oh! Oh yeah. All right, well, engine teardown's been fun, but we've found the culprit. Ooh, buddy. Yeah, that's just gone. Yep, all right. The rest of this teardown's now just for fun. We found the culprit. It's spun a bearing, that's what it did. It spun it, because you can see, I don't know if you can see from it right there, yeah. Yeah, there's multiple layers of bearing right there. Oh, that just like flaked off, look at that. All right, yeah. So yeah, this is just standard Volkswagen bearings. Look, you know, they wanted to be like Subaru. Bearing failures. Yep. All right, well. It's just in pieces. This is hilarious. There it is. Yeah, this engine was toast. Good to know. Didn't do this in vain. These things are not light. I get some good scrap value for it. So, here is the other half of that bearing. That was just obliterated. Yeah, you lost oil pressure, bearing failure, all good stuff. And there's
another chunk of it. So yep, I don't think this motor had any life left in it by the time I got it, but we got something to replace it with here soon. It should come out. And this here.
So if you haven't figured it out already, this was a mistake, but we'll circle back around to that in just one moment. Let's pull the head off first.
I'm gonna turn the engine back over. We did get the tool for the head studs, so we can at least remove the head. See how tight all this is. It is time. Oh, which ones? They're not. All right. Head's off. First legitimate head removal. Gone well. Yeah, and the Felt Pro gasket, head gasket, looks okay.
Now this was the reason why I chose to tear down a known bad engine, because I knew I was gonna be rough and I knew I was gonna make some mistakes. Now, I thought about hiding it, little movie magic, about pulling the pistons out the bottom of the engine. But then I thought about it some more. And I thought about how I've always been open and honest with my mistakes. I've shown you guys me going over ramps. I've shown you guys me stripping out bolts. I've shown a lot of the mistakes that I've made. And I didn't want you guys to think that I'd changed and not showing you one of the biggest mistakes I've made and pulling the pistons out the bottom of the engine. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there who genuinely feign perfection, and that's always irked me. And I've always strived to be honest and open, and I wanted this to be no different. So, I made a mistake, but you know what? I've already learned so much from it, and we're continuing to move forward. I had to pull the piston rings out from the loose pistons in the bottom of the block, and I got them pushed back through once I got enough piston rings removed. So now we can actually pull them out the proper way. The piston rings are just in pieces all over the ground. The pistons are definitely worse off. There's more scratches all over them. But honestly, I'm glad I made the mistake, because I don't think I'll ever make it again. Seeing someone else make a mistake, I really hope just encourages you yourself to try this, to know that no, not all of us on YouTube are infallible or perfect, but some of us do make mistakes, and that's okay. And I genuinely pray that you'd be encouraged by it, and that you yourself would grow as well, to know that you can make mistakes too. So now, let's finish this out, get these pistons out, and completely disassemble this block.
All right,
The first piston I have ever successfully removed. Yep, more piston ring stuff. And that's the block fully disassembled. Now I think you guys are ready to see what we've got taking its place. So we accomplished what we set out to do, and that is find out where the metal was coming from that destroyed this engine. And we guessed it was one of the bearings. It ended up being the rod bearings that had failed. This motor, I got it, it was already toast. There was nothing I could have done. I know I tried, but it was already gone. And that's okay, because we've got another Jetta with another 2-liter that we've been having some fun with. Go check out that series. What do you think I'm putting in the wagon? You have any guesses? Put them in the comments below before I show it to you. But this engine was really fun to tear down because I've never done this before. So this was super eye-opening, really good time. And I learned a lot about just pressures and how to torque things. And also that this engine stand likes to move a fair bit, but overall, wonderful experience. And now that I've given you time to type your hopefully 3-letter guesses in the comments, let me show you what's going in this car. This is the 07K, a 2.5-liter engine, also from Volkswagen, pretty much the naturally aspirated precursor to the Daza you find in the RS3. And this should be quite
the improvement. This is the CBUA out of a Volkswagen Jetta from a junkyard. You can tell it's from a junkyard. It's missing some connectors, it's dirty, it has a lot of work that it needs, but this engine right off the bat should make 170 horsepower in this chassis. That is almost as much as the VR6, also stock in this same platform. With simple bolt-ons, you're looking at 240 crank horsepower, which is quite a fair bit for this chassis. I'm gonna keep this NA just because I want that NA power band, and I also don't want it to be too complicated. I want this to just kind of be very reliable. These engines in Volkswagen terms are actually pretty reliable, pretty robust, and bulletproof, and I want to keep it that way. And honestly, that much more power in a Mark IV is all you really need. There will be goals of probably about 300 wheel horsepower fully building this motor, but that's down the road. We've got a lot of work to do to this engine to get it ready to go in this chassis. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Cole Wilkie for giving me the idea to do this swap. And also not only for giving me the idea, but for giving me basically step-by-step instructions on how to get an 07K in a Mark IV wagon. It was like, when I found it, I was like, boom, done, golden, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be epic, and it's gonna be so much fun. So, y'all excited? Because I am. Next episode, we dive in.